Hello dear viewers and welcome to T-World. Kindly hit the subscribe button and we will be on our way. In today's news, former President Donald Trump has made it clear he is searching for cover from his nearest partners around the impending formal conferences by the House Select Panel exploring the January 6th revolt and a few noticeable names in Congress and Republican Party are noting the call. Trump's group has conveyed to a portion of his most steadfast acolytes on Capitol Hill that the previous president needs individuals overwhelmingly protecting him and pushing back on the select panel while the formal conferences work out, as indicated by GOP sources acquainted with the solicitation. Board of Trustees individuals have prodded that the hearings could be centered around Trump's immediate job and subverting the political race results. The council has been pursuing a proposition that Trump's fixation on losing the political decision and his selling of bogus cases about the outcomes laid the foundation for the vicious and lethal mob at the Capitol. Trump's demand that his partners safeguard his honor has prepared Republicans both on and off the Hill right into it, with an expansive scope of plans to safeguard him. This regardless of the conviction by certain Republicans that they ought to distract from January 6th and on second thought keep on thumping the drum of the current-day monetary and social issues that have resounded with electors in Congress. The designated reaction to the hearings will be administered by House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy of California, who has been planning the reaction exertion with GOP individuals. The California Republican is confronting added strain to show his help for Trump after he was gotten on tape before this year censuring the previous president and a portion of his GOP partners in the prompt outcome of the Capitol assault. The fundamental player in keeping Republicans on message will be House GOP Conference Chair Elise Stefanik of New York, who arose as probably Trump's most intense protector during his most memorable arraignment and supplanted Wyoming Rep. Liz Cheney in Republican Authority. Sources say Stefanik will be entrusted with organizing the party's informing reaction and guaranteeing key partners and substitutes have arguments, very much like reprimand, at the encouraging of President Trump and his group. Stefanik will assume an outsized part shielding President Trump and House Republicans on the issue of political decision respectability, said a senior GOP source. Two individuals whom House Speaker Nancy Pelosi dismissed from serving on the Select Board of Trustees will likewise have a vital influence on the informing front. Rep. Jim Banks of Indiana, who seats the moderate Republican Study Committee, and Rep. Jim Jordan of Ohio, who contributed to the work to upset the 2020 political decision results. We will push back, Banks told CNN. There were serious disappointments that happened on January 6th that must be fixed. This hoax Board of Trustees hasn't effectively addressed them. Banks and different Republicans, including Rep. Rodney Davis of Illinois, the top Republican on the House Administration Committee, have additionally been chipping away at their own counter-examination concerning January 6th that centers soundly around the security disappointments from that day. Banks said they are putting the final details on a report framing their discoveries and anticipate that it should be delivered in merely weeks, which could match with the last part of the select panel hearings. Part of the test for Republicans, particularly after they chose to blacklist the select board, is that they have little understanding into what the examination has uncovered and what may be uncovered in the formal conferences, making it harder for them to choose an exact methodology. Another is the possibility that the Board of Trustees will incline vigorously on declaration from previous associates of Vice President Mike Pence to assist with putting forth their defense, a situation that could drive Republicans to pick sides in a more open manner than they have done so beforehand. Trump partners and a few Republican agents are now anticipating that declaration from Pence's previous helpers should be highlighted conspicuously in the hearings, just adding to the previously stewing hostility between the two camps, while the Republican House Conference has its arrangements. There is really difficult for the five individuals who have been summoned by the panel as a feature of their examination. McCarthy, Jordan, Rep. Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, Rep. Mo Brooks of Alabama and Rep. Andy Biggs of Arizona have all opposed endeavors by the board to sit for affidavits and give reports as a component of their examination. Every one of the five run the gamble that the panel has data about their part in the endeavors to sabotage the political race results or the actual mob that could be uncovered during the consultation. Jordan and different officials have endeavored to however, that gamble, by endeavoring to characterize the council and its work as just a sectarian political witch chase. Jordan has framed this contention during calls with moderate givers coordinated by Republican gathering pledges gatherings, including CPAC. Be that as it may, those legislators and Republicans all the more comprehensively are gauging whether they stand to profit from a disgusting reaction, particularly taking into account they were allowed the opportunity to affirm in secret and have all, wouldn't they, from beyond the Hill. The Republican National Committee and Matt Schlapp, the administrator of Conservative Political Action Conference, are supposed to be key part in the GOP's counter-assault. Sources said, it's hazy. Be that as it may, in the event that Trump himself will show up or openly make an appearance as the hearings are unfurling, while the party's arrangements are as yet being fully explored. The Republican pushback is probably going to appear as news meetings, commentaries, linked news appearances, and online entertainment posts. Sources acquainted with the conversation said, there's likewise been discussion of a war room to more readily empower the GOP to release fast, constant reactions to the hearings. Trump is booked to meet 1 week from now with a considerable lot of the players where his own technique and requests could become more clear. He will have a pledge drive for Stefanik on Monday and afterward the following day. Group with individuals from the hardline House Freedom Caucus, which is home to a portion of his staunchest partners, however. While the Republicans will in all actuality do Trump's offering, there is genuine nervousness that pushing back a lot of will remove center from the areas they accept will help them the most in the fall decisions. We simply have to build up the story that the Democrats are fixated on Trump in the past and they aren't keen on managing the issues of the present, said a senior Republican employable dealing with Senate races the nation over. It's Biden. It's expansion, it's the boundary, it's gas costs. Most Americans aren't discussing January 6th, all things considered. A few agents are offering their clients ideas to set them up for the inescapable inquiries that will emerge around the conference. However, determined to direct the discussion back to homegrown issues, we want to manage things surprisingly. However, the objective is to remain on message. The usable said, assuming we take care of our business right, we will show that we are engaged the issues that most Americans are managing each and every day. That feeling is reverberated by typical Republican individuals anxious to recover the greater part most Americans could do without what occurred on January 6th. Yet rate it pretty falling short on their significance list when contrasted with expansion, cost of gas, the boundary and wrongdoing. Rep. Ware Bacon, a Nebraska Republican who addresses a Biden-won region, told CNN, when Pelosi started off 2 individuals on GOP side, which before this Congress has never been finished throughout the entire existence of the House. The apparent authenticity of the Select Committee close by is zero. Others inside the party, including legislators and agents, have recommended that the best game plan might be to not do anything since they accept most Republican electors are giving almost no consideration to the forthcoming hearings and the introductions are thought of as far-fetched to change the general assessment among the GOP base. Many individuals feel we shouldn't push back, a source said, adding the reasoning is to simply allow the board to continue doing what it is doing on the grounds that it is really harming individuals strategically and limitedly affecting Republicans. There might be no contending, no proper opposition in any capacity, and no authoritative expense in light of the fact that our power base isn't watching. They added, however, likewise with anything in Republican legislative issues, all that laid plans could undoubtedly be exploded by Trump, who might demand that his allies exhibit their help vocally and without reservation.
If you made it to the end of the video, kindly hit the subscribe button and leave a comment, it helps the channel.